We're not just marching on Washington, we're marching for Washington.
Well, coming up, thousands coming together in the district today to march for change. 7 News on your side with team coverage on the push for voting rights and D.C. statehood. Plus, the Pentagon announcing another attack could be imminent. This as we learn the names of the 13 service members killed in Thursday's suicide bombings.
Giving me so much love just being out here, man, and to get out here and know these boys out here balling out.
And a local football team honoring their 8-year-old teammate who was shot and killed this week, what their support means to his mother.
WJLA 24/7 News. On your side at 5 starts now.
Well, right now it is dry and hot outside, with some of us seeing temperatures nearly reaching triple digits. But tonight, all eyes are on the Gulf Coast. Hurricane Ida is barreling closer to Louisiana. And just look at this, a line of cars trying to get out of that area right now. The National Weather Service just released its latest track on Ida. Stormwatch 7 meteorologist Brian Vandegraff joining us right now with a look at that track. And Brian, what are you seeing right now?
Well, it is not looking good for the folks on the Gulf Coast, Carl. This system continues to gain in intensity and in strength. In fact, winds 105 miles right now, but gusting up to 120. Right now, 240 miles south-southeast of the mouth of the Mississippi River. This is a Category 2 storm that is heading over the very warm Gulf waters. Right now, moving to the northwest at 16, and that warm water just acting as fuel to get this thing ramped up. And if you look here, we have got hurricane warnings from all the way across all the southern coast there of Louisiana, eastward over to Biloxi and portions of Mississippi and Alabama, in fact, Mobile as well. In addition, storm surge is going to be a major concern. Obviously, winds potentially upwards of 120 plus miles per hour. We're talking about rainfall upwards of a half foot of rain. But look at this surge, that push of water on land, 10 to 15 feet along here, along coastal Louisiana, 4 to 7 feet on the eastern flank, 6 to 9 on the western. Even Lake Pontchartrain will have a surge as well as the storm pushes through. Here's the latest track, making landfall potentially tomorrow afternoon, early evening as a Category 4. They'll start to feel the impacts by tomorrow morning. And then later in the week, some of that energy may head to our neck of the woods. Speaking of energy in our neck of the woods, we do have a few showers and storms to the west. No current warnings. We'll continue to keep an eye on that and track some cooler weather for the latter half of the work week coming up in that 7-day outlook. Carl?
All right, Brian, thank you very much. Well, right now, rallies are wrapping up in the district. Thousands coming together, pushing for change, and taking part in March On for Washington and voting rights. And that's not the only group rallying today. 7 News is on your side. 7 News has team coverage for you on everything happening in the district today. We start with Tom Rousey, who is live right now on the National Mall. Hey, Tom.
Hey, Carl, I covered the event that featured speakers like Al Sharpton, also Martin Luther King III. I covered the same event last year, and it was the Lincoln Memorial, but this year they set up the stage on the National Mall, and they did it with the U.S. Capitol right behind them because they said they wanted to send a message, particularly to the Senate side of that building. On the kind of hot and humid August day D.C. is notorious for, many marched and listened to speakers for hours because they fear voting rights are under assault.
I can't bear it anymore. So this is the only way I can scream.
The infringements on our rights, it's not just a particular race, it's all of us. If they come for one, they're coming for all of us eventually.
Because at the time, states could pass all kinds of laws designed to keep people from voting.
58 years to the day since his father gave the famous I Have a Dream speech at the nearby Lincoln Memorial, Martin Luther King III said even in his father's day there were no laws that specifically said black people could not vote. But he says then and now lawmakers found other ways.
How do you prevent certain people from voting without explicitly saying they can't vote? You cut back on mail-in voting and reduce polling place hours. Then the voting has to happen during the business day, which just happens to be the time that black and brown and poor voters who work service jobs can't get away.
Republican legislators throughout the country say the real aim of their voting bills is to stop voter fraud. Democrats disagree, and in a party-line vote, the U.S. House passed legislation this week aimed at stopping many state laws. Many here fear, though, that Republicans in the Senate will stop the bill by using the filibuster.
This is not a law. This is a Senate custom. Well, sitting in the back of the bus was a custom.
Also taking that stage this afternoon, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser, because one of the themes of the event, besides voting rights in general, was specifically voting rights for the residents of D.C. So the organizers pushing for D.C. statehood. Reporting live along the National Mall, I'm Tom Rousey, 7 News.
All right, Tom, thank you very much. Well, coming up, we'll take you back out to today's marches in D.C. 7 News on your side's Victoria Sanchez introduces you to some of the people participating today and what it means to them on the 58th anniversary of the March on Washington. That's coming up in less than 10 minutes. Well, 7 News on your side right now with the latest on the tense situation in Afghanistan. President Biden releasing a statement just a few hours ago saying people on the ground there believe another attack is very likely in the next 24 to 36 hours. The president also says the U.S. will continue to hunt down those responsible for the deadly bombings in Afghanistan that killed nearly 200 people, including 13 service members. As the U.S. military carried out a targeted drone strike just last night, killing 2 high-profile members of ISIS-K.
Threats are still very real. They're very dynamic, and we are monitoring them literally in real time. We will maintain the ability to defend ourselves and our operations all the way through.
Well, tonight, U.S. military and coalition forces are racing to get thousands of remaining American citizens and vulnerable Afghans out of the country ahead of the August 31st deadline. Now, this is video of some of them landing at Dulles earlier today. So far, 117,000 people have been evacuated. And developing right now, we are learning the names of the 13 U.S. service members who lost their lives in Thursday's terror attack. 7 News on your side checked, and none of them were from the DMV. Now, if you'd like to read more about their military careers, we have posted a full story on our website, WJLA.com. That's where you'll also find the latest on developments on the ground in Kabul. Well, the community coming together this morning in Prince George's County, remembering 8-year-old P.J. Evans. He was killed Tuesday night while playing a video game in an apartment building after someone started shooting at that building from the parking lot. Today, his youth football team honoring Evans at Arthur Village Park. His mother says seeing the support means everything.
I feel good, man. I feel my son's energy, man. They leaving the space open on the field for their brother on the line. Hey, his brothers are working, man. They balling out, and they giving me all the love I need, all the energy I need.
Now, at this time, no one has been charged in that case. Police are offering a $25,000 reward for any information leading to an arrest. And now to an update on a shooting at Freedom High School in Woodbridge. 2 teens were hurt in that incident that happened after the school's football game just last night. Investigators are now offering a $5,000 reward for information leading to an arrest. Police say a 15-year-old was shot in the lower body and a 14-year-old was grazed in the foot. They are both expected to make a full recovery. No other students were injured, and we are working right now to find out if investigators have a suspect description. And right now, the Washington football team is getting ready for its final preseason game against the Ravens. 7 News on your side's Olivia Garvey joining us live from FedEx Field right now. And Olivia, this could be make or break for dozens of players hoping to make the cut before the regular season.
Yeah, Carl, it's about that time. I'm here at FedEx Field for the preseason finale between the Washington football team and the Ravens. You were right. This is showtime for the guys that want to make that 53-man roster on Tuesday, and we're going to go all over that in sports. Stay with us.
All right, Olivia, thank you very much. We'll check back with you in about 7-8 minutes. How's that sound? All right, thank you very much. Well, still to come for us at 5, we take a closer look at the personal connections to today's March On for Washington and voting rights and what it means to so many across the country. Plus, the latest on Hurricane Ida, the new warning from President Biden tonight to the people of Louisiana. That's coming up in just 2 minutes. And right now, we are going back out to the events happening in the district. Another group there is speaking out on a wide range of issues in the spirit of late Congressman John Lewis. 7 News on your side's Justin Hinton joins us live at the Lincoln Memorial, where the Make Good Trouble rally just wrapped up. Justin.
Yeah, that's right, Carl. There's still a number of people that are out here. Take a look right over here. You see where that podium is? Well, that's the spot where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. made that famous I Have a Dream speech 58 years ago. So you have a number of folks who wanted to stand at that podium and take some pictures. Now, this rally was the all-encompassing rally and really encouraged people to make good trouble to produce change in a number of different fields. Of course, that's a play on the phrase made famous by the late Congressman John Lewis. Now, I heard mentions of voting rights, living wage, police reform, health care, climate change, and much, much more. All of it going back to holding lawmakers accountable. Now, people came from all over, many saying it is important to be here today on the anniversary of that famous I Have a Dream speech by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. But we also found people from right here in the DMV.
I always wondered when I was learning about the civil rights movement growing up, like what type of person would I have been in the movement? Would I have been, kind of quiet, kind of shy, scared of what might happen? Would I have participated? Would I have been in the forefront? Would I have been in a supportive role? But I feel like now I don't have to wonder because the time is now. So I'm just really excited to be here and to advocate and to help out whatever way I can.
I'm a white guy from the Midwest, and hearing, the stories of people who have been in the movement, since the 60s, it's very enlightening for me. The only way we're going to learn is if we listen to each other.
The call to action was for everyone to go home and to continue making good trouble to produce change. Live at the Lincoln Memorial, Justin Hinton, 7 News.
Justin, thank you very much. Now, as you've heard, it's been 58 years since Dr. King delivered his historic I Have a Dream speech on the National Mall. Well, today we've been showing you the thousands of people flocking to D.C. to push for change. Well, 7 News on your sides, Victoria Sanchez spoke with some of those participants about what today means to them.
At just 16 years old, E. Patricia Debrick listened to her worried mother 58 years ago and didn't come to D.C. for the March on Washington like she wanted.
I told her the date, and she said she's worried again.
Your mom's still around?
Yes, thank God. She's 93 years old.
She was in high school for the first march and finally joined in on the 20th anniversary.
I decided at 74 to try it one more time.
72-year-old James Corbin was there in 1963 and says it changed his life.
I had never experienced anything like this. I was just learning who I was as a black man, as a black male. I was learning who I was, and I learned a lot about my culture and who I am in that particular march.
Reverend Al Sharpton and Martin Luther King III led the crowd to the National Mall as the heat and humidity bore down.
I'm 82 years old. I can't walk too long.
William Burdo traveled from Los Angeles to pass on a message.
I'm still here today to keep fighting and try to encourage the young people that at work you must stand up, speak out, march, protest, and fight back.
How old are you, may I ask?
I am 23 years old. I just got my braces off and everything, so I'm still a youth.
Jamal Holtz says he's carrying on the words and actions of the marchers 58 years ago in the hopes of creating change for all voters in D.C.
The power of today is that we're not just marching on Washington, we're marching for Washington, which means that we cannot leave out the people of Washington, D.C. when we're talking about voting rights and voting representation.
Victoria Sanchez, 7 News.
Well, 7 News is on your side with a complete recap on the marches that were happening today. Learn more about who took part and find a full list of road closures and parking restrictions that are expected to end later this weekend. That's all on our website at WJLA.com.
This weekend is the anniversary of Hurricane Katrina, and it's a stark reminder that we have to do everything we can to prepare the people in the region and make sure we're ready to respond. And above all, I'm urging the people of the area to pay attention and be prepared. I want to say it again.
Well, right now, Louisiana is bracing for Hurricane Ida to make landfall. Take a look at this video showing long lines of people trying to buy generators and gas cans ahead of that storm. And hopefully it's not too late. I know a lot of people are getting ready, getting those last-minute preparations. But, yeah, this looks like it's going to be a strong one.
Oh, for sure. I mean, our first major hurricane making landfall of the season. And we're watching it carefully because It is approaching now, but I think the effects will start to be felt by early tomorrow morning. So not much time left before preparations need to be done, because the outer bands will start working their way across the area. In fact, some of the outer bands are reaching there, but the winds will start to make it there by dawn. Moving to the northwest at 16 miles per hour. Right now, the sustained winds are at 105, but a gust to 125 miles per hour. This is the 5 o'clock update, that northwesterly movement at 16, but the models do slow it up a little bit as it comes on land, which is not a good thing as it continues to pummel that area. Take a look at our futurecast, taking this up to a Category 4 storm. This is showing a landfall by midday tomorrow. So impacts being felt pre-dawn, but by midday, potentially that landfall there in southern Louisiana, that northeastern section, the heaviest section, 6, 10, 12 inches of rain could fall. In addition, we're worried about wind gusts. Look at this, 130 miles per hour. Could be sustained as this moves slowly inland, and then also that surge, that push of all that water as that system moves northward. I'll show you those concerns later, but there you go, all the way into the early afternoon. Look, even by Monday, pre-dawn, still a Category 1 as it comes deeper into portions of Louisiana, then downgrading to a storm and a depression, and eventually some of that moisture by Tuesday night into Wednesday could be funneling closer to our neck of the woods here in the metro area. But look, this is the big concern, 10 to 15 foot storm surge along the coast, but even on Lake Pontchartrain, especially on the backside, 5 to 8 foot surges. They have a lot of the new levee systems in place, but this is going to be a major impact. Meanwhile, closer at home, Caves Valley Golf Club, just up the road where they're having the PGA tournament, looking gorgeous out there. But we are tracking a couple of showers and thunderstorms this evening. In fact, 2 severe thunderstorm warnings for some frequent lightning, some heavy downpours, and even a little bit of hail for portions off to the north and west, including counties in West Virginia and Virginia, Berkeley, Clark, and Jefferson until a little after 5:45. Currently outside, it is very warm and muggy, low 90s across the area, but feeling more like the upper 90s area-wide. As far as the 7-day forecast is concerned, a few isolated storms again tomorrow, and then a little unsettled and hot for Monday, Tuesday, but the remnants of Ida later in the week will drop temperatures back by later next week. Carl?
All right, Brian, thank you very much. Well, let's check back in with Olivia Garvey live out at FedEx Field. And Olivia, I know it's preseason, but those fans have to be excited about this one.
Oh, Carl, Chase Young just ran out of the tunnel and everyone just went crazy. It is the preseason finale here at FedEx Field. I'm going to go all over this game. We're going to hear from Ron Rivera, and we're going to hear from rookie Jarrett Patterson on his preseason role that he's had all season long. We're going to go over it next. Stay with us.
And now, the Toyota Sports Desk, sponsored by your Toyota dealers.
Hello, everyone. I'm Olivia Garvey, live here at FedEx Field for the preseason finale between the Washington football team and our friends down the road, the Baltimore Ravens. This is really exciting. Preseason has been good for the Washington football team. We've seen the starters go in. We've seen the guys that are trying to prove themselves go in. And that's where I want to begin right now. So Tuesday, it will go down to 53 members on the Washington football team. By 4 p.m., Ron Rivera and company will have to decide who is going to be on that 53-man roster. It's going to be tough. It's tough for the coaches. It's tough for the players. Anything can happen, and this game is going to prove, especially to the guys that are trying to hold on and stay with this team, how long they truly can and how well they can do today to prove to Ron Rivera, like I said, that they're meant to be on this team. They're meant to be on the 53-man roster. And Ron Rivera spoke to our very own Scott Abraham during preseason last week about how difficult it may be for these players, but how difficult it may be for himself and his coaches. Take a listen.
Right now, do you have a kind of a ballpark of who you're keeping, who you're not keeping?
Well, the biggest thing is, you know, we'll talk. I'll talk the next couple of days to the guys that are going to play the bulk and just let them know that, you know, all the decisions aren't final. But there are several positions that are still available, and a lot of you guys are going to be judged on what happens. You know, and it's interesting because that puts a little bit of pressure on them, but you're also trying to find out who can handle the pressure.
All right, let's talk about an undrafted rookie, Jarrett Patterson. He has been a force for Washington in the preseason. Many calling him a steal because he has been. He's been dominant for this team. Every single start he's gotten, he's been so good. And he's going to try and get on that 53-man roster, and he's proving that that's where he belongs. Even after being an undrafted rookie, he belongs at that 53-man roster, and he's going to prove that even more tonight. And he spoke to our very own Scott Abraham about maybe possibly not even being there yet. Take a listen.
Do you think you've done enough already?
Not yet. You know, and you know, some people might think I have, but
I feel like I haven't, like I said, I just scratched the surface. You know, for me, I still have work to do. I still have, goals. I still, want people to say this kid really belongs in the National Football League. So, I won't stop until then. Don't focus on the interesting things, but focus on the important things, and that is getting better, every single day. We step on the field in meetings and just attacking it, every single day, 1% better, and that's what I do.
I have a pretty good feeling he's going to make that 53-man roster, and I have a pretty good feeling he's going to ball out for the Washington football team tonight. Of course, Washington going up against the Ravens. They're trying to get that win streak going in the preseason with a win tonight against Washington. Of course, we'll have highlights later on tonight on 7 News. We'll be right back.
All right, Carl, so as we come back, we have 2 areas of some thunderstorms that are pretty intense. I just wanted to highlight that area. 2 severe thunderstorm warnings for portions of Berkeley and Jefferson counties in West Virginia, Clark in Virginia until 5:45. I mean, look at those lightning strikes, 176 strikes of lightning in that little cluster right there. Heavy downpours, some gusty winds. We'll also watch for some flooding concerns off to the west because some of those areas with those slow-moving systems could see some rain accumulate out that way. A few of these may try to make their way east tomorrow, more like today, hot and humid with just an isolated storm chance. Monday, Tuesday, more of the same, broken record, but by midweek, Ida's rain will head our way, and that will drop temperatures by next weekend. It'll actually feel nice around here for Labor Day weekend.
That is significant and right on time.
Yeah,
I'll take it. All right, Brian, thank you very much, and thank you so much for joining us today. Remember, you can get the latest forecast around the clock at WJLA.com/weather and on the free Stormwatch 7 app. Have a great afternoon.